Hey, you tired after a long day of work, school, or whatever weebs do? Yeah, sure, why? Psst, I got you. Take this. Shit, it's pretty good. What is it? It's slice of life, man. Something you probably don't have. Dang, you right.
A few moments later.
Hey, yo, you said this was relaxing? Yeah, no returns, sorry. If you've been watching anime this summer 2022 season, surely you've been watching the bangers like Call of the Night or Lycris Recoil or whatever sequel is out. But let me tell you about the show that feels underrated or not really much talked about anywhere else, Prima Doll. Prima Doll is the latest from Key. If you didn't know about Key, they're visual novel creators and their works usually get adapted into anime. These anime they make definitely have some type of pattern. One of my favorites was Charlotte, and let me tell you, I was rocking that Charlotte desktop background for quite a while. I don't remember much of the story, like who's Charlotte anyways, but I remember the feels it gave me. So you could say that there's definitely like something going on here. Key is pretty much like the key to your heart. Oh god, that was cringe. Except this one. This one was just bad. Will Prima Doll unveil those long lost emotions, or are they just gonna be locked up in history? Let's see. So it's pretty much like Is the Order a Rabbit, with the cute anime girls working at a cafe type of feel, combined with Violet Evergarden's post-war environment where Violet, which is a robot slash automata, searches for the meaning of human emotions like love through her job as a messenger slash writer. But unlike Violet Evergarden, this one, Prima Doll, feels a little more immediate in its post-war setting. Like, they had this episode where they were looking for eggs because they were kind of rare. Reminds me of how the grocery stores in the pandemic were getting kind of out of stock for everything. So the main character, Sakura, is basically the definition of a moe blob. If you don't know what that means, pretty much imagine the cutest thing you could think of turn into an anime girl that gives you diabetes. Like, for real though. She's literally a blob. Look how stretchy she is. Alright, real talk. She seems to have some type of power from the war, which no one knows about because she didn't have her memory. What that means is that basically these robots, automatas that were created for the war, they got some part in their bodies dedicated to memory like a computer, and pretty much she got factory reset because she don't remember anything. Hokiboshi, aka Budget Komi-san. Just kidding, she's different. She actually made me cry, but we'll get to that later. While recording this, Hokiboshi is just so funny to say. Gekka. Imagine if Tony Stark wasn't trying to make Iron Man and he was a weeb and made anime girls. Except she's a lolly. Karasuba. She's like the leader of the cafe. She's the prim and proper anime girl that gets flustered easily. May like the manager. Yeah, that's 100%. And lastly, we have Mr. Nagi. Not gonna lie, it took me a couple episodes to figure out that it was Mr. Nagi. I can't be the only one here, right? Nagi is an expert in automatas, so it's clear that his expertise helped the military win the war. Because of the war, people saw automatas as killing machines. After the war, negative sentiment of automatas began to grow, so Nagi sought to change that by establishing the Black Cat Cafe as a place for automatas to come work for after the war, as sort of rehabilitation and as a way for them to show society that they can reintegrate peacefully. Yeah, killing machines. These girls were all designed for war. Imagine pulling up to the fight seeing this. I don't know why they designed these robots to be cute anime girls. Clearly they got these normal looking ones. Like, they stand out. You're in the battle, right? And it's just like, hey look, there's the boss. Get him! If they had to paint them something, should have been like camo so that they don't stand out. Earlier I said that Prima Doll is like Is the Order a Rabbit with Violet Evergarden, but Is the Order a Rabbit is pretty much slice of life at its purest, so the story wise it is pretty much like Violet Evergarden. But Prima Doll's story structure is kind of split into specific arcs for each character because each character is highly impacted by the war. There's definitely a bigger like PTSD type of effect with Prima Doll than in Violet Evergarden because each episode focuses on how they're finding meanings in their lives post-war and kind of what it means to move on. I mean, Violet Evergarden is kind of the same, but this one, it's definitely got more of the war as the focus. They got a whole episode on how they were conserving electricity. I think it's done really well how they incorporate that slice of life with the more dramatic moments. For example, in one episode, Sakura tries to get the girl who can't talk to sing with her at the cafe. You know, so it's gonna have all these like cute and wholesome moments, and there's some hesitation. but after some flashbacks, she musters up the courage. Her desire to talk again is restored when she learns that some of the soldiers from her old squad are returning from the war. But it's not that the soldiers are necessarily coming back, it's their dead bodies and their ashes. Her motivation and all that practice from singing just went down the drain. But Haizakura, with the power of love and friendship, finds one of the relatives of the veterans who gives her a message, a letter in the style of Violet Evergarden that reads about how the soldiers appreciated Hokiboshi and what she did to them, and that she shouldn't feel ashamed or have any doubts about herself, even though they all died. Reading this, she started to cry, and with her cries coming out, her voice also came out. And I also shed a tear, I'm not gonna lie. So they invited these veterans and their families. Oh, not the veterans, they're all dead. But they invited the veterans' family to the cafe, and she's finally able to give this performance with the song that she's been wanting to sing. And finally, her voice is revealed. Other than these episodes featured for each character, I'll have to say where I'm at towards the latter part of the story, it definitely picks up a bit more, and without spoiling, I'll have to say the overarching plot is explored more, and there could potentially be a little more action, which could lead to some more sad moments. Depending on how it ends, I think Prima Doll could be one of the most underrated shows this season. So if you're a slice of life fan and you're looking for an anime to watch, I definitely recommend Prima Doll, which will take you through a whole slice of life and all the problems of health, including diabetes and depression.